Big ideas, real talk. I'm Sarah Press, and this is Nothing Small About Business. All right, happy 4th of July week. It's 250 years of living the American dream. And what I love about this week's episode is it fits like so perfectly within that because entrepreneurship, small businesses, it's literally the American dream. And today's guest is Alex Thiakos, and he is building a company from literal scratch, and he's sharing it with everybody. And he's putting everything on his social media down to letting people vote on like what the name of his company is. Like, how cool is that? And being able to watch his story from the very beginning to getting to the point where he's about to launch the product. It's just really cool to watch and really interesting to hear his story. It kind of comes full circle from like where his family came from, what they're currently doing, and what he's like expanding into. So I think you guys are going to love this episode. If you do, please share it with a friend. And again, I'm just so grateful you guys are here and listening to this. And yeah, enjoy the episode. All right, Alex Thiakos, welcome to the podcast.
Sarah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so we met on Instagram. I saw your one of your social media videos talking about your new spice company. So before we dive into like how you are building this publicly, can you first talk to me about why you're getting into the spice world?
Sure. So I'll take it back to how my grandfather came to America from Greece in the 50s. And one of the industries that all the Greek guys that would come from Greece got into was the food industry. You either own a restaurant or you sold a restaurant, sold food products to restaurants. That was kind of like the easiest way. And they all did business with each other because a lot of them didn't know English. So they kind of just spoke Greek with each other and did business with each other. So my grandfather would pick up produce from the Southwater Market, which was in the south side of Chicago, where they'd have um, on the sidewalks big things of just fruits, vegetables that you would just go grab. I want, you know, 2 bags of tomatoes, whatever they had there. He'd go pick those up and go drive to Greek restaurants and just go sell them. So that's kind of,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So he was going like more that route than like owning the restaurant. He wanted to like feed the restaurants.
to sell it. Yes. Yeah. Sell to them.
Okay.
Exactly. So he did that for a little bit, sold his route in the 70s, took my dad, his siblings to Greece for 3 months to meet his parents and everything. Cause my dad never met his grandparents and stuff. When he came back, he obviously couldn't get back into the produce world because he had sold his routes. So if he didn't want to go into produce, he got into paper goods. He started selling paper goods and canned goods to the same routes. So he wouldn't be
Okay.
competing with the guy he sold to. So he started doing that. 70s, 80s, 90s, my father got involved. When my grandfather got sick, my father joined in to help him run the business. And he ended up growing that. And now we have a 180,000 square foot warehouse in the west side of Chicago, like West Loop kind of area, where we sell food, canned goods, non-perishables, um, paper, and spices. So here's
Got
where we come
it.
in.
Okay. Here's where the spice world comes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we sell spices, but only food service pack, like 6-gallon jugs or 1 pound containers. And I've always been a fan of, starting a business and what I had a vending machine when I was 14. I started.
Oh,
And
funny.
yeah, that was my first ever business, was a vending machine. And I had it in our warehouse. So I kind of learned how to operate business
Oh,
that
I was
way.
like, are you selling this at school? Like, where's your vending machine?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was a good part that I didn't have to pay. My dad didn't make me pay rent to him. So I
Okay,
saved
that
on that
helps.
expense. So it was strictly cost of goods was my only expense on that end. So I was thinking, like, how do I start my own business? Like I'm head of sales. I'm the only salesman at our food distribution company. So I'm head of sales. I put my
Hey,
name
you give
as.
yourself any title you want.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. My dad's like, I'm like, what's my title be? He's like, it's whatever you want. And I get jokes, like my buddies give me jokes sometimes about it, but
Like, wow,
I
look at
mean,
that fancy title you got.
yeah, yeah. It's because, in the food service industry, my dad's always been worried that if you bring someone in and let them behind the curtain on your customers and everything, they could just leave and have the leverage to come after your customers. So he kind of likes keeping it in house. So he could trust me and stuff. So
Nice family business. Yep.
yeah. And plus now all the inbound leads that we get, I get. So it's like I get all the new customers, I guess. So it's nice.
Right, if you're not having to funnel them to anyone else, you're like, "I'm really
Exactly.
good at my
I don't
job."
have to battle with anybody. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's fun that way. So my dad and then after my vending machine, I was always thinking about different ways to start businesses outside of the food industry. And my dad's like, why don't you figure out how to start something within what we're kind of doing now?
Mhm.
So I thought, what's an industry that is like not cool? Like there isn't like cool branding, cool packaging, and there's kind of been the same companies for the past 100 years, right? And I thought spices, like that's perfect. We already pack spices. We have a facility we pack spices.
Mhm.
The industry is riddled with like chemicals, terrible branding, and I think that's something I can, have that advantage in. Companies like McCormick have been operating for like over 100 years, I think. I don't want to make any claims on any other companies, but a lot of big corporations, no one in specific, um, uses chemicals to treat their spices.
God, it's like we can't get
Through
away from chemicals. We don't even know
Yeah,
this. You'd think that would be like such a
you don't know.
no-brainer that there wouldn't be anything in there.
So I guess my kind of moat and how I want to go about things is steam treated, which is one of the treatment styles. That's like, I guess, healthier, non chemical, steam treated and organic. Kind of go that route
Mhm.
and make a more premium brand from that. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. If you can build a solid premium brand, people will love it. That's kind of where I
Yeah.
got the idea from, I
I think
guess.
you're on there's like 2 really important things that you're doing that I think are so smart. It's like you're staying in your vertical. You're staying in your vertical, you already know this business, you already have your contacts within this business. So you're not starting something that you know nothing about. I think that's important. And number 2, if you asked me to name 2 spice companies, I couldn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which I'm
And
like, it's so funny when you think about that. You're like, yeah, it's just McCormick.
and I've been seeing a lot of different companies take industries that are poorly branded and making cool brands. For example, it's this company I've been seeing, Good Girl Pickles. Have you heard of them?
They are literally on my list of that is one
Yes.
thing that I was gonna mention them. Good Girl
Okay.
Snacks with their hot girl
Yeah, Good Girl
pickles.
Snacks. That's what it is. The hot girl
I'm like,
pickles.
they
That's what
took
it is.
a pickle and made it freaking cool. They were at Coachella.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
yes, I've absolutely been seeing those things, and what I'm hearing is that those are the brands that are gonna gain so much traction.
Exactly. If you can be a founder on social media, that's what people want to see. They want to know who they're buying their stuff from. They want to support those people. If you give them the opportunity between McCormick, who I don't even know who the owner is or whatever. I couldn't name anybody at McCormick, but if you know the owner and the founder, you know they're a good person, good morals, good values, and they have a good product, they'll want to buy from you.
Mhm. Okay, this is the area that I'm really excited to talk to you about is building a brand publicly on social media and sharing all of it, like the good, the bad, the ugly, similar to what Good Girl Snacks is doing with their pickles. And I'm seeing a couple other brands doing this. And it really seems like if you're not building visibly, then you're going to be left behind. So talk to me through like your strategy. So you come up with this idea that you want to reinvent the spice world. Talk to me through your process then with building it on socials.
Sure. And I also want to note that I heard this from Alex Harmozy. He said if you could build a business without being on social media, putting your face out there. It's totally possible, but you're just leaving yourself like 5 years behind the guy that will. And I want to be as ahead as I can be. So that's kind of why
Like,
I decided,
we have all these tools, might as well use them for your
yeah,
advantage. Yeah.
because in a perfect world, like I wouldn't have my face on any socials. I'd be unknown in a perfect world. But
Mhm.
you have to make the sacrifices to attain the goals you want to attain, I guess. And one of my goals was to, start and scale a business like the spice business. So in order to achieve that, I had to put my face out there. And although it was very cringe at the beginning, and I was scared people would see me and make fun of me, but you just kind of got to get over that and realize life's too short. Um, so your question was how I got started with the socials.
Yeah, and like what your plan is for it. Like going
Yeah,
into it,
yeah,
you're like, okay, I'm gonna build a spice company. We're gonna do social media. Like, what does day one look like with that? Because you're only, this
yeah,
is newer, so we're still in the beginning stages of it, which is really cool for people to follow along.
yeah, yeah. So, um, one of my one of my buddies who I met through a friend of mine, Yanni Mavrakis, he's the bowling alley guy. I don't know if you've seen him
No, I'll
on
have to check it out.
socials. He bought 2 bowling alleys and documented himself, like, revamping the bowling alleys and, like,
Okay.
taking them from close to foreclosure to a thriving bowling alley in Chicago, and he's done with 2 of them, and he's currently still doing it on social media. So, I had a call with him, before I like, a month before I even started posting on socials, and he kinda gave a good rundown of how to post. Kinda like, you know how I post with different camera angles and kinda storytelling and stuff like that?
Yeah,
That's
you
kinda what he does, yeah.
okay, yeah, the way that you're putting your content out there is really unique, and that's, like, honestly, one of your first videos what caught my eye, and then it was funny too, like, you're getting spices thrown at you, and, like, you're redoing the take, and, like, the behind the scenes, like, opening up that curtain, I think is what people really enjoy.
Exactly, yeah, so he kinda gave me the idea to post like that. So I guess the first, like, month of posting, I was posting kind of in that format, like the
Mhm,
storytelling, different angles and stuff, and I'm still doing that now, but I wanted to mix in different kinds of content formats, like 'cause I'm learning this whole content game. I've never been in this content game before, and it's a rabbit hole. So,
it's
like, green
wild.
screen, yeah, it's wild. And it's gonna take me, and I've understood that it might take me, like, months and months and even years to get to the spot I wanna be so on social medias, but I'm willing to learn every day, get 1% better every day, and, hopefully achieve that goal. But, yeah, I've been trying different content styles like green screen, um, you know, doing different kinds of, just talking to the camera, like, having a topic, like, I had a video the other day. Um, it was like, what I think is the best thing to know as a salesman or something like that, and I was just speaking to the
Mhm,
camera, like, a question, speaking to the camera, like, different content styles like that, mixing it in, seeing what hits,
mhm.
seeing what doesn't, and kind of evaluating. I have my good buddy Dimitri, that I've known since I was 3 years old. We went to Greek school together and everything. He kinda helps me on the personal brand side of things, so we talk, like, almost every day about what content styles are working, what's not, what hooks are working, what's not, stuff like that.
Yeah, and don't you feel like it's constantly changing? So they were like, "Do talking head content," and then that's like, "No," like, a week later, "That's dead, don't do that anymore," and then it's like, "Do carousels," and then it's like, "No, that's dead now." It's like keeping
Yeah.
up with the trends. It's like, do you almost, like, invent your own lane and that's what you stick with, or do you find it important to do some of the things, like, with the trends?
So I'm the one thing about me is I'm really not that creative. I like taking what's working from other people and just kind of redoing it in my way. That's kind of how I see things. Like, if I see someone do very well with this piece of content, I'll just remake it in my kind of way.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be the one, at least now, to be the person to start the trend. Like, oh, Alex was the first one to make this kind of video, and everybody's copying me.
Right.
I like, seeing what works and sticking with that. That's the more safer bet in my eyes.
Yeah, and you just never know what's gonna stick. Like, I did a video with my grandma. People on my socials love my grandma. I did a video with her. It went, like, super viral. Got a bunch of, like, followers off of that. And then when I do my other content that, like, really takes brain power and creativity, it's like crickets. And it's like, "What?"
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I don't know if you saw, I posted my last post yesterday. I saw this guy do it, and the caption was just checking if the algorithm will push this video of me just standing more than a video I spent 5 hours doing, which I do spend like 3 to 5 hours on the storytelling videos, like with editing, scripting, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And this video did better than like a lot of them. It's
It's
crazy.
like, "Oh my god, like, what are we prioritizing
Little
here?"
people, yeah. So it's good to it's actually puts into perspective what people actually want to see.
Right, and it's a good reminder of, like, sprinkle those in too because not everything has to be, like, perfectly curated and thought out,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
sometimes it's the
Exactly.
stupidest thing that, like, is what sticks with people or that they enjoy.
Yeah, and I like to consider myself kind of a funny guy. Like, I like joking around a lot, sometimes
Mhm.
too much, but I try to put a more serious side on social media, but I'm trying to mix in a little more, of that
Right, you gotta have the
funny
personality.
Alex.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
gotta have the personality in there. So one thing you mentioned that's so relatable is like having to put yourself out there in the beginning and it's so cringy. And it's funny because it's like at first your audience are like the people that know you. It's like your family and your friends. And you're like, I promise, like give me a year of doing this and this will suddenly be cooler. Right
yeah.
now, fully cringy. And I'm curious like what your family and friends like response was when you first started coming out with this.
So I was thinking, I know a lot of people do this. I was thinking about doing, which was like blocking family and friends on your account. I didn't end up doing that, but I had the thought passed my mind, like, but I was so scared. I did not follow anybody. All my followers are strictly organic people seeing me on their feeds. So like I
Hmm.
didn't follow anybody. I was like, if my friends are gonna find me, it's gonna be organic. I'm not gonna tell them I'm posting anything. But my parents think it's cool. They're definitely not the kind of people to love like putting yourself out there in social media, but they think the
Hmm.
kind of content I make is cool.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I guess friends and family have been like, I wouldn't say like some people have been full on supportive, like keep it up, Alex, whatever. But I guess it's kind of just like in the middle, like no one's really like shitting on me. Excuse my language, and no one's really like super like praising, but some people are here and
Right.
there,
They
like
will be.
which
Once
is
once this
nice.
company gains enough traction, you better believe those people come like running back
Yeah,
like, "Hey, I was there from the beginning." And you're like, "No,
yeah.
were you?"
It's actually the people who are like not my closest friends, but like people I see here and there are the ones like, Alex, keep it up. I see what you're doing, which is like really nice.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the fun part of building a company and like letting the outside world of people that don't know you that well, be a
Which
part of
which
it.
I'm a very humble person. Like I feel like I have imposter syndrome. Like I'm still not to even close to where I want to be, but I'm working toward it,
Yeah, and
every day.
I think it's good to always go in with that bit of imposter syndrome because once you start believing that you have all the answers and that you know everything, that's I think when you start hitting the dangerous zone when you're not learning anymore, you're not humble, that's where
No,
things can shift
exactly.
a little bit.
And yeah, that's where like I guess faith comes in a lot is I don't think anybody's above God. Like we're all like everybody, we're all on the same earth. We're all born from, on a blank slate, we're all the same people. I'm no better or no worse than the next person.
Amen. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so with socials, some of your strategy I've noticed was asking your audience to help pick out the name and the some of the packaging. So, how did that play out on social media? And are you happy that you did it that way, or were you having some regrets?
Yeah, no, I'm very happy because I think like I said, I'm not the most creative person. So my strategy is I'll get a few different things and test it in front of the people who are my potential customers and see what they would want on the product. So I guess that's like the easiest way to see what people would like.
Hmm.
So that's
Right,
kind of
engage
how I
in
thought through
numbers
that.
of like, give me some feedback on this design versus
Yeah,
this
yeah,
design, because
yeah.
the packaging alone can be so important with how a product's perceived.
Yeah, yeah. Like I plan on continuing to use Instagram polls to decide certain things within my company because my customers, that's kind of like a gauge of what people like. So I think I'll be keeping with that and seeing what people want to see.
Yeah. So I'm curious. So Poppy has obviously been a huge brand, a big industry disruptor, and their founders, was it Stephen and Allison, they talk a lot about their story of how they built their company by going to farmers markets and like testing their different flavors and getting feedback. And they sold it, just at farmers markets, I think in the beginning, and then like slowly grew that company. Where it sounds like what you're doing and what I hear some of these other brands doing is more of like building the community first and then having that big launch. So talk to me a little bit about your strategy behind that and what your launch is going to look like.
Yeah, for sure. The plan is definitely to build a community first, and I've been starting that. I could go the route, you know, the farmers markets and everything. I genuinely don't have the time to. I couldn't start a business from scratch right now with my current state, like work operating the business with my father and stuff. Um, having gone that route. So that's like completely out the door. So I kind of had to build the business through social media and kind of go that route in order to have a customer base. And I've talked to guys who have started CPG brands, and they told me, you're doing it the right way. I wish I would have done it that way,
Mhm.
because it gets you, much farther ahead. So yeah, I'm definitely, yeah, the strategy of building on socials and building the community has been great. And people message me, when's it coming out? Let me know when it's coming out and stuff. So I can already see people want the product, but I kind of wanted to start 4 to 6 months prior to releasing the product to give myself enough runway to build that community.
Mhm. And are you planning on selling direct to consumer, or are you selling in stores?
Yeah, so direct to consumer, uh, and then uh, switching that into uh, stores contacting me.
Mhm.
Hopefully, my plan was to
Like, people
have
are coming
enough.
to me for these
Yeah,
spaces.
I didn't want to have to beg anybody. I'm the last person to want to beg for anything. Like, if you want my product, if you think I'm good enough for your store, you can come to me. Until then, I'll be selling it to my customers, direct to consumer online, Shopify. But I also have some connects with people who can give me a warm introduction to different stores. So that may be a route I go once I do get the first launch. I think the first launch is going to be a preliminary, like friends and family, see if the website works, fix any kinks and stuff we may have to fix
Mhm.
in July. And then hopefully August 1st, most likely September 1st, have the actual launch to the public.
Got it. And so leading up to that, like, do you have any like big plans for like what does that actual launch day look like for you?
Ooh, the launch day. Um,
And are you
stressing me
going to
out
be
thinking
ready
about it.
for it? Because there's a
Yeah,
lot that goes into a consumer brand before
I think
launch.
so. I think so because I'm gonna test it out July 1st and kind of get those kinks out for, and then spend 2 months, prepping for the actual launch. And another thing I'm gonna do, um, which is a business concept I learned, is scarcity, which kind of increases the value a little bit. Um, but I'm gonna do a strictly like 500 SKU, 500 of each SKU launch to
I was
start.
going to say 500 SKUs to launch is insane.
No, 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 no. I'm starting with 3 SKUs, 2 blends, and an oregano from Greece.
Okay.
And I'm gonna kinda start with those 3 because I don't wanna overwhelm myself on the first launch. And not even overwhelm myself, like, hopefully I even hit the 500. I don't even know if I will,
Right,
but
you
I'm
will.
gonna
You'll
do.
get there.
I hope, yeah. So that's also a thing, kinda mitigate the risk of potentially not hitting that number, but also not overwhelm myself if it does go past 500. So I kinda
Right.
know.
You don't want to be sitting on like boxes and boxes of product that can expire, or if you want
Yeah.
to change one thing within that product, you want to be able to be, more nimble with that for sure.
Yeah. I'm a big advocate, and we've talked about before, is like making sure my systems are good to scale before I scale. I want to make
Mhm.
sure that I can handle the capacity before I scale to the
You're
capacity.
not drowning in spices.
Yeah, like I can pack it. Like I don't know how long it would take to pack 500. Like I don't even know any of that stuff yet, so I got to figure that out before.
That's the cool
Yeah.
part of starting a business is that you learn really quickly what works and what doesn't work. And being able to pivot as fast as possible when something's not working is so incredibly key. And I'm wondering, so far, what have been like some of the hardest lessons that you've had to learn?
Lessons. Social media. I did really well with my first video and a few videos too. And I say, like, I'm not doing well, but comparatively to some other people, I could be doing very well right now, like to other people.
Hmm.
Like I'm getting thousands of views still, but not compared to my first. So still figuring out that content game has been a challenge.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's just so much and it's ever changing every day, as you know. So I'm just trying to figure that
Yeah.
out.
Have you found that
Um,
any, like, as far as the actual product with like regulations or anything like that, and figuring out packaging and labeling, how
so
has that whole process been?
I'm in the middle of all that. Thank God through social media. Um, and like I said, we've been doing spices at my current food distribution company, my family business. But I don't use any of those relations that we have. They have all been organic through social media of companies reaching out to me. Those are the people I've been talking to source the good quality, organic and steam treated spices. And also packaging people have been reaching out to me through social media, which has been nice. So I haven't really had to do any cold outreach. It's been a lot of warmth through social media. But I've got really good people I'm working with. So I think it's been good. But one of the other big challenges is juggling, like, as a sole owner doing this business, juggling like packaging, regulations, spices, content. It's like 100 different directions I'm in,
You have
and
a
I
hundred
just
jobs. Yeah.
100 jobs. So I'm like focused on packaging one day, and I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta look at regulations. So I'm looking at regulations, and like, oh, I gotta get the blends, like make sure I finalize the blends, and like I'm going in 100 different directions. So that's managing all of that. It's the tough part.
Right, and they all take different skill sets and different parts of your brain that you have
Yeah.
to turn on, turn off, like, understand what you're good at, what you're not good at. Um, One thing that I was curious on is the earlier you mentioned your customer, and what's really important for these companies is to understand who their ideal customer is. And when it's a product like a spice that is technically like everyone is a customer, how are you narrowing that down? Or what are you putting as your core customer base that you think is going to be buying the product?
Yeah. So I know the customer that is not my customer is the person who just wants the cheapest spice, doesn't care what's in it, doesn't care about packaging, any of that stuff. That is not my customer. My customer would be, the person maybe 18 to 40, kind of the new generation of people who want, who care about what goes in their body. That's definitely one thing. And likes cool packaging, likes a cool brand, a good story. That kind of person is my customer, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, and finding people that know how to cook is important.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
So, do you have some strategies going forward? So, after you launch, what are some of the marketing channels? Are you doing anything aside from social media? Are you leaning heavily on like an Instagram, TikTok platform, or where do you find yourself putting some of the most marketing budget?
Yeah, I'm leaning heavily on I think I primarily focus on Instagram and what works for there. I do distribute out to Facebook, Instagram, or Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, but I primarily look at the metrics on Instagram and kind of focus on that. And
Hmm.
just if it does well on TikTok, YouTube, that's just another plus.
Right. You never know. I heard like some of these brands selling on TikTok Shop, and like I don't buy anything on TikTok Shop, but I can tell you my daughters absolutely are constantly
Yeah,
asking me to.
yeah,
And some of those brands, I think Bloom, I follow that owner of Bloom supplements and the energy drinks.
yeah, yeah.
They are like crushing it on TikTok. That's like a huge source of income for them.
TikTok Shop, I know, is, yeah, a very big channel that I will have to explore at some point. Um, and yeah, definitely want to, because I know a lot of people on it. And I
Hmm.
will, but I would say from a metric standpoint and seeing what works on social media, I kind of focus on Instagram. But I do have content ideas for the future from what I'm doing. One thing would be kind of like cooking with me, like using my products. And it's gotta kinda gonna be like a funnier thing, like, because 'cause I'm not the best cook. Like, I cook here and there. I cook really just like chicken and steak, which are the 2 blends I'm making. Like, I just throw a seasoning on chicken, throw it in the oven, and eat that. Like, I won't even have
Hmm.
any rice or anything, strictly like chicken thighs or chicken breasts and skirt steaks. I'll grill it, put some onions on it, that's it. Like, that's what I
Like
cook,
it
so
doesn't
it
have to be complicated, and especially
it
with
doesn't, yeah.
this whole, you hit on something earlier that is so key, is like this wellness industry and this wellness world. There is a massive movement towards that. And so letting people know, like, I didn't even realize with your spice company that it is going to be more organic ingredients, or that whatever the steam you mentioned, like,
Yeah, healthier
there's
treatment,
almost,
yeah.
yeah, like there's like an education piece for the consumer there that I think is really cool and key. Is like, oh, I didn't even think that spices wouldn't be.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
all natural. It's coming from like a plant, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So that's one way. Yeah, cooking with me, like I'm gonna do like make a Greek salad with me, and it's gonna be like a minute short on me making Greek salad. I'm gonna put my oregano on at the end, kind of show off the product. But I'm kind of gonna make it more like funnier, showing off my personality and stuff that people like. And then also another marketing way I was gonna do is, like I told you, I like joking around a lot. And
Hmm.
I'm not sure exactly what specifically I'm gonna do, but I wanna do like a hidden camera, like giving out my spice in public. but in like a funny way. Like one of the ideas I had is like I'll like dress up in a suit, pretend like I'm like a Greek gangster, and say like to go up to some random person like, "Hey, bro, like come here," like and like screw with them a little bit, and then like give them the spice at the end, like
Right.
something like that, something that like
Something very, like, man on the street type of.
man on the street, something that'll get the views, the viral views from, and it'll
Yeah,
kind of be funnier. So like
right.
stuff like that. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do, but I have some ideas.
Well, and they're saying brands these days almost have to be like media companies, and, like, these
Yeah.
even these bigger brands are really leaning into the storytelling behind, whether they're taking their interns or their new hires, and they're, like, building mini shows around it now, and then the brand is, like,
Yes, I've
secondary
seen
to
that.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like
Yeah,
the
so
mini 2, 3 minute shows that people wanna tune into the next show and watch, the next episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, it's, like, such a different world that we're living in where, you really have to think about the way that you're marketing your company from, like, an experiential standpoint.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, one other area I wanna talk to you about before we wrap this up is I'm finding that a lot of brands are starting to partner with other brands that are not competitors of theirs, but they make a good synergy. So with spices, just off the top of my head, say you have like something that is good with like on the rim of a margarita or on the rim of a drink, like partnering with somebody like that or making a mocktail with it. Have you thought about doing like some sort of events or circumstantial partnership with somebody like that?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, and I've had people actually reach out to me that they want me to make them, blends and spices. I don't operate as a co-packer. That's what some people get wrong. I'm not like I've had people reach out to me, like big Chicago brands too, that want me to make a spice for them, that they're not a spice company, but they have a product that can, go well with spices. I'm not a co-packer, but in the future, I've had, um, like a restaurant, for example, that I owner's a great guy. I met him because I went in to eat there with my buddy Evan, and my buddy Evan went back the next day, and he's like, "Who was that guy you were with yesterday? I saw him on my reels." And he owns a chicken. It's like a chicken, like a halal chicken spot in Lombard. We were talking about maybe one day, like doing a spice for him, because he was like, "Yeah, I'd love for you to do a spice." And it actually, the social media, how it funnels into my food distribution business is now he's buying spices from us, food service spice from us now. So it kind of funneled into I got to sell a sale through my food distribution company through my social media, kind of that
Right,
way.
and they can work together because 'cause you're still holding your day job, we'll call it.
Exactly. Yeah. It helps me with, yeah, sales in that aspect.
How is your dad feeling about you spending a lot of time on this new spice company?
I spend I don't spend much time like during work hours on my spice. It's more so after hours. So I'm working a lot more than I used to now. Let's just put it that way
Right,
in
as a
total.
founder, you're working kind of 24/7 to get things off the
Yeah.
ground.
Like if I have to do something during work hours for my spice, I will. And he understands that, but I try to do it after hours and on weekends and stuff.
Mhm. So with starting this company, is there anything that you've learned about yourself that you were surprised with?
Uh I need to be a better time manager, which I have been. Like that's what I've learned having starting this. I'm like the busiest I've ever been. So time is the most valuable asset we all have. So if there is something I don't want to do, I am not going to do it. I don't give a
Nope.
shit what it is. I will tell you no. And usually in the past, I felt bad for telling people no. And it's probably been with you because you seem like a very nice person.
It
So
was
like,
really hard for me to
it's
learn
really
how
hard,
to say
right?
no to
Say
people.
no.
It's a skill, it's a
Yeah.
learned skill.
Yeah. So now if I like really don't want to do something, I look at it as like, this person's trying to take time from me. I am so busy and I'm stressed out and tired all the time. I'm not going to give this person time. I'm stressed out and tired on my own. Like
You got nothing left. You got
I got
nothing to
nothing
give.
left. Like, and I don't feel bad for it because I have to look after myself at some point. I have certain goals and, um, but I do like, giving back and, giving advice to people who need it and stuff. Not like I'm anywhere. I want to be somewhere where I'm not yet, but if anybody asks me for advice and help, I'm always there to help and connect them with people. I like
Mhm.
connecting people with like, oh, you're looking for a job here. Do I know anybody in the industry? Like, can I help you? Like that kind of stuff. But yeah, learning to say no has been a big thing.
Yeah, that's huge. I
Um,
mean, like along with time, I always say, like, if you don't have the energy for it, the time piece doesn't matter. And so you have to protect your energy. You have to learn how to say no and recognize, like, is this going to energize me or is this going to drain me? Is this going to move my business forward or is this just a waste of time?
yes, 100%. Yeah. Uh, and you should, as a business owner, you should eliminate the things that take your energy and figure out a way to, automate those somehow with AI, or is it like hiring an assistant or something? And just do the things that energize you because you will enjoy going to work every day. If you're just doing things, it's not about people say they get burnt out because they're working too much. It's not because you're working too much, it's because you're working too much on the things that take your energy.
That is spot on. Like that
Yeah,
should be written on
yeah.
everybody's wall right now.
Yeah, like I'm the happiest I've ever been at work, like starting this company and like doing like I went I'm in bed at night having worked like yesterday. I started at like 6:45 and I didn't get done till like 8:30 at night. Like I had a networking event and stuff like that, and um I went to bed at like 9:30, 10. I'm like, I can't wait to work again tomorrow. Which after like a 12,
How
14
cool
hour
is
day,
that?
that's the goal. Like I've been looking my whole life to get to that point where I'm like enjoy working and stuff and working with the people you like working with. So yeah, it's fun and learning
That's a
every day.
sign from yeah, that's a sign from the universe that you're on the right path when you feel like you can get that flow state and when you're like really excited about what you're doing.
Yeah. Excited
You'll know
about
right away. Your
accomplishing.
body will tell you right away when you're like, this is not my lane. I don't want to do this. This doesn't bring me joy. And you'll show
Exactly.
up differently in that
Which
business when you are,
I have been in the past like that before and
yeah.
never want to be, yeah, never want to be like that.
Once you're out of that, you can't, you'll recognize it right away when you're doing something that doesn't align with it. Well, we're running out of time, but I'd like to leave my listeners with one thing. And like, what is that one thing that you would tell people that could improve their lives or their business? And for you, like, think about like the founder that's wants to start a company, isn't doing it yet. What's that one thing you would tell them?
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's what it took a while for me to learn. Um, Nobody cares. Like everybody's got their own issues. They have their own families, jobs, everything. You may see the comments on social media of someone doing a mean comment or someone saying you're hearing someone saying something about you. At the end of the day, they'll say that comment and then are back to their own stuff, their own issues. No one really ends up caring. You're on this earth for such a limited amount of time, and you just be with the people you love, do the things you like, and take risks. Because one thing I try to live by, every decision I make, I'm 25 years old, and every decision I make, I look at it from the lens of the 65, 70-year-old Alex, who's at the end of his life. I ask him, what would he do internally? I ask my 75-year-old Alex, what would you have done? What would you do as a 25-year-old Alex now? Would you say yes or no to this opportunity? Would you regret doing this opportunity or not? So that's kind of how I look at life in that kind of lens.
That's a
And
really cool way to
yeah,
look at it.
because it limits my regrets in life by doing that. Because
Hmm.
if 75-year-old Alex is going to tell me not to do it, I probably won't regret it in the
Like,
future. I
probably
probably
shouldn't do it. Right.
shouldn't be doing it. Yeah.
Right. But he's like, when you think about the fear of putting yourself on social media, it's so spot on. You're like, if someone, no one's thinking about you that much. And if they really care what you're putting on social media, like they're probably not the person for your business or for whatever you're trying to build. Like, let them move on. It's
Yeah.
no big deal, you know?
Sonny in the Bronx Tale. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Bronx Tale.
Oh, yes.
One of my
Yes.
favorite movies. Sonny said he told Calogero, the kid, nobody cares. Nobody
Nobody
cares.
cares.
Nobody cares. In that New York accent, nobody cares.
One
Nobody
of my
does
good
care. Yeah.
They don't. And one of my good friends told me something, and they're like, "These people aren't paying your mortgage, so don't you should not be caring what they think."
Exactly. They're not gonna make sure your family's healthy. Like they don't yeah, they don't care. Only actually care about the people that care about you, like your
Hmm.
family, your good close friends that actually show you support and stuff, you know?
Absolutely. Well said. All right. Well, if people want to go follow your journey, which I highly recommend they do because it's been really fun to see up until this point. We're not even at launch yet. And I'll make sure this episode airs, prior to launch so people can follow along. Where should they find you? Where's the best place?
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Alex Thiak. Thiak, Alex Thiak.
All right, perfect. I'll link these in the show notes as well because that might be a hard last name to spell.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
well, cool. I wish you all the best in your journey. We're cheering you on from over here, and I just cannot wait to see how this whole thing unfolds. Especially being in Chicago, so you're in a great
yeah.
place for it.
Sarah, thank you so much, and I wish the best for you and your endeavors as well, and your family.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Nothing Small About Business. Make sure you follow this show so you don't miss the value in upcoming episodes. Share this with someone who's growing, and connect on socials for more.